Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
Hi, this is Loral. Welcome to Loral's Real Money Talks. We are back on our podcast where we are teaching people how to make money, how to keep money, how to invest money, how to have an amazing team, because without a team, you're going to be broke. So again, I have had Wendy Stevens as a guest before on LinkedIn. Now we're going to talk about a different topic. It's high-end ticket sales, because most people don't know how to make them. They're just too chicken is what I would say. And there's a skill set to doing it. So she and I have been doing it forever. She's been part of our big table. When I first met her, she was in 6-figure business school. Now she doesn't do anything less than 7, nor do I. You know, my new joke, which I don't know you listened, we're actually here physically live. So hi, Wendy.
Hey, Loral, how you doing?
I don't know if you remember, I said, for 6 figures, that's good, but why get out of bed for less than 7?
Why?
So, exactly.
Why?
Now,
you got to get out of bed.
If you got to get out of bed, you got to get out of bed. But if you're going to do it for less than 7 figures, man, you're working a lot. So let's talk about how do you ratchet a business. And let's talk about the funnel in the beginning. Wendy, let's talk about how do you take that baby little funnel and make it a big enough funnel that 7 figures is got to be like a known quantity.
Yeah, that is actually the very first most important thing. Because if you remember the movie, like Lord of the Rings,
By the way, she's moving around like all physical, like, all excited.
Because if you have the ring, the little ring, my precious, that's the one freaking lead. Dude, look at this. This woman's got gorgeous jewelry all over. But if you only have one lead, then you're attached. Notice that your dates can tell that too. It's repelling. It doesn't work in high ticket sales. So the number one thing you need to do is have more highly targeted qualified prospects than you can talk to that day. Now I'm loosey-goosey because I don't need anybody. That way you're not afraid.
Explain this a little more. I don't think people listening understand desperate, because most people listening are probably like, oh my God, it's that one human. It's that one human. And then they're desperate and they get clingy and weird. So keep explaining a little more detail of clingy to loosey-goosey.
Yeah, if you've ever ridden horses, or if you have a dog, you know that animals can smell fear. So can your prospects. And prospecting is a dance. The art of high ticket sales begins with elegance, eye contact, the approach. If it's in person, of course, it's eye contact and body language. If it's on the phone, Zoom, Skype, you name it, now you've got, tonality, 67% of the communication on the phone, but your vibration comes through either in person or on the phone or on video. You must pay attention to it, including the nanosecond that you first encounter. You're setting the tone for whether you're going home together or not. Seriously. I'm just saying.
I know. So let's start and let's break it down. So do you have steps? Do you have so how many steps does it take from, here's what most digital marketers, most salespeople would say is you need to date him a long time. I don't believe that. I can date somebody for 20 minutes or less. And if we're a match, we are a match. And it's a high ticket, which means we're talking $25,000, $40,000 ticket sales. So I do not, even though I teach the same thing, you got to date, get married. I actually think when you learn the skill of high ticket sales, you can just date and get married.
I actually would agree with that.
I know you would. So
let's
break it down.
Yeah.
Part of it's the personality. If you're not that person, then you hire us because we're like queens of doing it. But if you have some skill set, let's talk to steps.
Yep. So the first thing you can do is put every variable in your favor. What I mean by that is make sure you properly position your prospect. Boy, I made that up. Properly position your prospect.
That's a good book.
Well, there you go. That's the next book we're doing. There we go. Before you ever talk to them, make sure they're sitting forward and paying attention. How do you do that? You do that with a brilliant video before you ever even get together. And that's not difficult to do. I actually had a client, Loral, had them set up just a quick little video. Hey, really looking forward to our meeting at 2 o'clock today. I checked you out. I looked you up. Really looking forward to having a conversation all about you, your business, what you're up to. See you then. People literally doubled, this is no joke, doubled their closing rate just by sending a video up front. It's psychology. Someone's now watching you as opposed to the other way around. So you're at least coming in as peers and to be respected if you position yourself properly.
Well, in position and power.
Position, posture means power. Absolutely. 100%. So number one, tilt the deck in your favor. Make sure you're doing that ahead of time. Because if you're getting on the phone and you're having to build your credibility, well, you're starting a little bit behind the 8 ball a bit. You should start out ready to dive in the conversation. In fact, even if I have someone just send, here's the simplest way. Have someone send over you the top 2 or 3 reasons why they want to talk to you. Now I'm armed with data. I know their biggest problem is X and Y and Z. Now I can go into the formula you asked about, Loral. Who, what, how, where, and when. Now you and I can go down that pain funnel in every single one of those 5 areas. But you've got to cover, in fact, if you put a piece of paper down and you write down who, what, how, where, when, and write down in your own voice.
Write that down, by the way, folks listening, write it down.
Who, what, how, where, and when. Let me ask you, who have you worked with in the past? So write down in your own words the way you would ask some of those questions that are natural. It's like a Christmas party. Have a freaking conversation with people. Be interested, genuinely. Find out what's going on with them.
Be curious. Be more curious.
Be detective. Ooh. So the questions are pretty obvious. Who? What? What have you tried in the past? Tell me how it worked for you. How long were you using it? What is it about it that worked for you? What didn't work? So go all the way down.
What do you want?
What
My
do you really
favorite
want?
question is, what do you want?
I love that one. If you look back 5 or 3 years from now and you go, wow, that was a really great ride. What is it quantifiably that you would want? Describe it to me.
Yep.
Now they give me an answer, and that's kind of like we just get to know each other.
By the way, that's called the hook, and you hold it.
That's the hook. I want the personal impact. So what you want is you want to make sure you launch that young man into life, right? So why is that so important to you? Well, he's my only son. It matters.
We're talking about me here in Jacksonville.
I'm just going.
By the way, we're in Jacksonville. We are about to send my son off as an extraordinary man to this college. So we're here in Jacksonville. That's where Wendy lives. Anyway, so
there you go.
I'm good.
Get the personal impact. Find out why it's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I don't get this job, then my wife's going to leave me. Okay. So,
and if I don't make this money, if I don't reduce taxes, if I don't get an investment. By the way, you know what I love about most men who are the man is a plan? And I'm going to write a book called The Man's Not a Plan. And it's not about that. It's about the family impact. It's just get honest about the whole conversation about money. And if you haven't invested properly, man, you better figure it out. And we have such amazing techniques. I just brought in 2 more joint venture partners, Wendy, that literally have taken men from 50 who have lied to their family the whole time, saying, oh, I have it all together, have it all together. They have nothing together. And now between 50 and 60 have over $4 million in the bank. So, you got to pay attention, folks. Do you want to make money or just want to stay broke? That's my kind.
And the truth is, so
high-end sales, it's all about you.
No, you didn't know I was going to say this, but the reason I'm passionate about this topic, high-end sales, is I sold myself out of a bag. I was 90 days from losing my house, no business, no marketing background, still no college degree. And
pre-table?
This is pre-table. This is before you and I met. So I learned how to generate leads and close sales. I studied this like a science, because I had 2 beautiful kids depending on me, and Williamson County, Tennessee, I could have lost custody of my children. Most people don't believe that. But if I had lost the house to the bank, that totally could have happened.
Really?
So I couldn't afford mistakes. So if you're out there and thinking, I can't afford a mistake either, I got a family depending on me, hey, you can be 50 and have your back up against the wall. The best thing really and truly I ever did, and Loral doesn't know I'm going to say this, the best thing I ever did, because you can make 7 figures and spend it like a drunken sailor too, which was happening in my world around direct sales.
That was Wendy.
But no, I actually got 12 LLCs. I stocked away money, bought properties, learned how to do it properly. The best thing, actually, really and truly, no BS, no skirt blowing. I won't look at her for a moment, is that I went to Big Table and I reached down to my ankles and I pulled up my big girl skirt and I got my stuff together. And that is the reason I have 2 amazing kids that got to go to private university. So really and truly,
not just private. Come on, Cornell.
Oh, they went to good school. Yeah, but they're great kids. Here's the point. If I lost everything today and had to start over, I could start over and learn to generate enough quality prospects by proper positioning and posture. Get on the phone. This is a skill set that is worth it for life. It doesn't matter. You buy, sell businesses, you grow another one, you teach your team. You can leverage, grow, create cash anywhere you are in any country in the world if you learn the art of high-ticket sales. It's about finding out what's not working for someone, what's the emotional impact of them reaching their goal or not reaching their goal. Find out. And if you're not attached,
so I love it. So let's dissect it.
Yep.
So how do you find out that when, especially as women, men, other people, cultures aren't willing to talk to us? So what are the questions you ask to say, what the hell is your pain? And I'm going to solve it.
Yeah.
So we know that we have, like you have your skill set, I got mine. We know how to solve, but how do you get to that pain point when most people are superficial?
Yep, it's great because if you take these 5 questions I'm about to give you, definitely
get a pen and paper.
Get your pen and paper. This is my magic wand. You'll develop your own words, your own way, your own style. Loral has her own secret sauce. The only way you find yours is you swing your leg over the bicycle and start pedaling. Yes, pick up the phone. Listen,
I love it.
You make it into the Hall of Fame in baseball if you strike out 7 times out of 10. Laurel and I, and my best guest, have a very high pain threshold. Yeah.
Oh, we have bruises.
Bruises, man. Because you know what? You can be bruises. And look at you, and you're still gorgeous. Check it out. But here's the deal. If you want what you say you want more than struggling, then you'll figure out a way to keep stepping up and keep swinging. So here are the magic questions. First one, if you could just change anything in your world right now, one thing, what would it be? They're going to
write these down. If you could change anything in your world,
what would it be? Find out. Now, if they're holding you at a distance, it'll be a very superficial answer. And
I want to go to the beach.
You want to? Well, terrific. It sounds like you've got your life worked out, Loral. You know what? So listen, I'm just going to wish you all the best of luck.
Sarcasm and gas to like figure out the real truth.
Yeah, it's like, look, you know, here's the deal. I'd love to be able to help. If you can tell me the one thing you really want to move the needle on, we can talk about that. But if there's not anything else that's really going on, hey, I'm sure you've got something better to do with your day. So how can I help? Find out if they want to play. And if they don't want to play, guess what? When you have 10 more prospects to talk to that are highly targeted and qualified, you get to be loosey-goosey, and they feel it. Now, all of a sudden, they feel you step back a little bit because prospecting is a dance. If I step away from Loral,
good luck.
If I ask a question, here's the key. Ready? I'm giving you your 5 magical questions, but here's the art of doing that dance. When I ask Loral a question, Loral, if you could wave any magic wand and change one thing in your life, what would it be? Be quiet, shush up, and listen. Because when Loral answers,
which could be a while, like, so you got to give space. That's the biggest mistake. It could be like total silence for like a minute and shut the frick up. Because your uncomfortableness of filling that space is not allowing them to think. You've just asked them the most powerful question of their life. So say it again. Yep. You could change anything in your life.
Leave the space because the pain of that gap makes them get in touch with what they actually feel about what they're thinking. So that was $1 million tip right there. The more you're comfortable, you let that gap be, they get to tap in. And actually, there's intimacy in that stretch, in that silence, in that pain, in that uncomfortable. Their husband, wife, spouse, partner may not have been comfortable leaving that space for them to really get freaking honest about what's not working.
Okay, can I add? Because we're both like geniuses at this. So you also, I think, when the silence goes on, ask the same question, but don't answer it. Ask the same question. I would go up to 3 times. So again, I'm just going to ask you, what's the most painful thing? Like if you could fill the void of the most painful thing and just let it linger and then ask again and then ask again. I would say ask up to 4 times. Is that too much?
No, I think it's too much at all.
Because you got to get them there. You got to get them connected into that tight, like, because otherwise it's just superficial bullshit. Well, I want to go to the beach. But no, you don't really want to go to the beach. What do you really want? Do you want the silence of the beach? Do you want the no people? Like, do you want, what do you want?
And you can
just such a bullshit question. Right? So just get deeper as fast as you can and just let it linger, let it linger. And I think that's the art of the connection. And the rest is like,
it is the art of the connection. It is the dance of communicating and cultivating. So when you ask, let's say 2 or 3 times, and they still haven't stepped in, you can actually say to them, don't be afraid. You've left some time. You can say, hey, listen, you actually reached out and asked to speak to me today. So I am happy to show up powerfully for you in that moment.
Oh, that's good. Yep.
But I love to be able to help someone through where it is they're looking to go. So let me just ask you.
And tears might happen, by the way.
Yep, exactly. So let me ask you, do you want to continue the conversation? It's okay if you don't. Do you want to continue the conversation?
Oh, that's good.
Now I've just gotten an agreement because they're going to say yes. If they're 9 times out of 10, exactly, they're going to say yes. Okay, great. So if we're going to continue, where would you like to go next?
Good.
And let them take the next step. They're deciding the level of intimacy we're taking the first time. They basically went to the edge of the canyon and they were looked over and they were kind of afraid, little deer in headlights. And listen, just feel free to share with me. What is it about this that makes this uncomfortable for you? Because I will share with you right before I took a leap at a big table, I was really uncomfortable too. And I don't know where you are in your life, but don't be afraid to bring up third-party validation of people that were afraid. It is normal. So what is it that you think has you kind of tied up or stuck about this?
It's good. Yep.
So just get them to start to move a little bit. A blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So if you keep moving with them and develop the connection, they're going to start to feel comfortable and start to crack the shell a little bit and reveal a little bit more. So
next question.
Yeah.
What is it?
What is it? Oh, the next magical question. Who, what, how, where, when. The next magical question. A scale of 1 to 10. Laurel, where are you on in your life and your son going off to college? Let me ask you.
Oh, this is good. All about personal.
1 being the lowest, 10's the highest. Let me ask you, how important is it to you to really actually create generational wealth where there's an opportunity for, let's say, you have siblings you may take care of someday. Do you have anyone in your extended family or a foundation or anything that you want to do outside of your kids?
You're funny. You're so funny. I love how you go for my juggler.
Why not?
My son is already there.
Got it. So that one's handled.
Well, no, he's got to learn how to run the trust, and he's got to learn how to run all that I've,
How do you plan on approaching that?
What?
How do you plan on approaching him running the trust?
Well, there's this guy at JU. He's called the president. And he used to run PepsiCo, and he's extraordinary. So he and I have this little pact about putting my son in the business school of Jacksonville University.
Nice.
And he's going to freaking crush it.
So what will that be like 4 years from now when you're there at graduation?
No, it's not just 4 because he's got a 4+1. He's going to school on academic, but it's football. So he's going to do 4+1, which means he's going for 4 years, and 1 year later he has an MBA. So he's a finance and an MBA. And what's it going to be like? He's going to come back and run the entire state. If he doesn't want to, I'm all right with that. So I kind of like him too.
So what's that going to feel like for you at graduation? You're taking a picture with Logan, the president. Is that what it feels like?
Yeah, totally.
Got it. So what are you willing to do between now and then to help make that a reality?
Oh, I got to release him. I got to let go. I'm not coming back here. This is why you live in Jacksonville. I don't. And I will come back as much as he's cool, but this is his own wings. He cannot be Loral's kid. He's just going to be Logan in his own little wings, and it's going to be amazing to watch him fly.
Right on. So notice what we just discovered in that conversation.
Fly and fly.
What we found, right?
I like how you're dissecting me.
You like that?
Podcast.
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Live, right here in the moment. So unlike a frog, Laurel's a little different, so we won't dissect all the way open here, but notice that there was a connection with a very cool possible, maybe, who knows, an identification of what could be an opportunity.
You know what he wants to be?
Forward. What's that?
President of the United States.
Oh, check it out. So President of the University would be a good start, like Wally.
No, President of the United States.
Nice. But Wally's it. Got it.
He's going back to Nevada, senator, congressman.
Nice.
Around the country.
So then,
just saying.
So ask your prospects. Find out. Look, I just hit her emotional mother load. Literally the mother load. So ask the question. If there's one thing you could change, what would it be? Find out what is the emotional impact. Right? We just heard Laurel's. What is your prospect's emotional impact to move forward?
So why don't I repeat that though? Because everybody listening probably knows where he's got it full ride. How do you finance? It doesn't matter about how I would finance it. If you give a shit enough about something, right? Why do I have a private plane? The only reason I have a private plane is because my father was dying and I figured out how to make it happen. That's what you have to figure out. I don't know if I couldn't afford Logan going to JU as a private D1 school, which is like the Harvard of the South, I'd figure it out. And a lot of folks listening, they don't figure it out. You have to figure it out on the other side. So your job, knowing that people will figure shit out if their life depended on it. So what you're doing in this, I think, the 5-step process, these 5 questions, is you're taking them to the brink of your freaking life depend on it. What would you do? And you would just do everything that it took. I did everything that it took to get a plane to get my dad home. I did everything it took to take my son across the entire, like ocean to ocean country to go to the school he wants to go to. You know what? It's not about can't afford it, can't do whatever. It's about what can you do and everything. But you got to get your prospect to this place. I just live in it, so I'm really not a good, person to test all this on because I just do it. But here's what I also know. Everyone you talk to will do what I do, will do what we do, is you figure it out.
And it's a great question to ask your prospect. So just
if your life depended
on it, where in your life before have you done whatever it took to get the result?
And why aren't you doing that now? And what would it feel like? What would it be like if you lived your life in that moment of I get to have anything I want when I want because I can, and they got to get there. And then they will just strike a check. It doesn't matter. The money's not the issue.
Money is never the issue.
Money's never the issue.
It's the commitment.
And the urgency.
Absolutely.
And the urgency of I need that life, I need it now. Whatever it is. I don't care if it's health. I don't care if it's wealth. I don't care if it's whatever the hell y'all selling or listening to the podcast. Figure it out.
Yep.
But finding that thing. So go back to your 5.
Yeah. No, so that is the third one, which is what is the pain level? So if you were going to say to me on a scale of 1 to 10, 1's the smallest, 10's the highest, I didn't use 1 to 10 all the time. I will go through the who, what, how, where, when. One time I will use the scale of 1 to 10. And I can use it at any one of those 5. Yeah. Then I can also use, look, if you could change one thing, what would it be? It could be at either the who, what, how, where, when. The other one to do is look, where else in your life, right? Have you done whatever it
should show up
to get a result? You just knew, you had to get to your dad, that's it, you figure it out. You literally just do what it takes. So let me ask you, this category of, choosing to do X, Y, or Z, whatever the program is, let's say it's to launch a book, whatever it might, how important on the scale of 1 to 10 is it for you to do that? If your life is over and this doesn't happen, are you okay with it? No, I'm not. Okay, great. Tell me more about that because I want more emotional juice. I want to hear more attachment, more energy, more charge because now they're fired up about it.
Yep.
Got it. So now that I hear you really want it, they're a 7 or higher. If they're a 6 or below, they are lukewarm, spew them out and say, look, it doesn't sound like that's really the. So you got to go back to that point.
Well, and there's a place in the 6 or less, I think, you do one more little technique called take it away. So, you're really not qualified.
You're not ready.
Just stay with the sheep, follow the sheep. Stay broke. It's all fine. Or whatever, stay unhealthy, stay with cancer, whatever the hell your problem is, just stay there because you clearly aren't willing to move.
And
I love that. Taking away.
I love that.
You know what? So I'll be back in touch. Actually, I won't. You call me when you're ready, and you actually.
Here's my number.
Yeah, let me know.
My number, write it down.
Because an egg will just fish harder. They'll be like, no.
Now you've found the ace because you can't turn a jack into an ace.
Yeah,
they're still a jack. But if you take it away and they come back and go, wait a second, Laura, okay. You're sure it matters to you? Tell me why it matters to you.
Exactly.
Well, it really matters because blah, blah, blah. So get them to jump back. Whatever. I agree. The art of the takeaway.
Love it.
And if you aren't taking away, look at your results at the end of the day. So pause for a moment and look at 10 prospects you've talked to. In fact, right now, the little commercial break in this episode is ask yourself the question, how many prospects do you have to talk to get to a yes? And make it a game the next 12 months to reduce that by 1 or 2. You can get really, really good. So if you talk to 10 prospects to get 1 to a yes at $100,000, well, how do we move that along to where it's 2 or 3 out of yes? So if you're not doing the takeaway, 1 in 3, you should be stretching enough to do a takeaway. And if you have people that are looking for the money or they're going to get back to you, you better start taking away because you're not stretching them enough. Okay? Who, what, how, where, when? The how. So ask this question. And you have to be aware of the personality types as you're going through these 5 questions. When you've got a type A driver influencer, which Loral and I both have those strong codes, they may not need to know. I don't need to know all the how. I just need to know I've got a big, fat, juicy why. It is important to me. It's done. It's over. It's knocking down. I'm getting it done. But you have some analytical types or some engineers or some accountants. They need to know more of the how. Yeah. So if you're listening to the rate of speech. If you're watching their body language, because they've got their arms.
So are you on Zoom when you're doing these?
I'm on Zoom, absolutely. Why would I
Face-to-face?
not? I'm too busy. I'm on the beach. I'm having fun. I want to be on Zoom, and I'm watching the moment their camera comes on. I'm taking in their body language. I'm
Good
taking
for
in
you.
everything.
See, that's new and good. That's good.
Listen,
Everybody talks one-on-one on high ticket sale for you.
Everyone.
So all of you, by the way, if they want a high ticket sale, they're going to askloral.com, and you're going to put in your name, phone number, and email. Say, I want to talk to Wendy. Even if you have already experienced a strategy session with us, boy, you better have this one, because she will dissect you and know that you are all like,
you know what?
But you know what? Like, get real with money.
Figure it out. Yeah, life's too short.
Yeah. So here on my JU, and the president says, "So you know what? What did he call it? President Cost. He used to be the president of PepsiCo. Is sort of the space that you're taking up on the planet. Like, what's your significance? Like, why are you here? And outside of like doing something amazing for the rest of the population and serving people, you're just taking up space. Like, it was brilliant. It was brilliantly said, and it was progress. So are you part of progress? That's what it was. And if you're not part of progress, you're not part of serving, then you're just taking up space. And you can't be those people. Like, I don't speak to those people, so they got to go. So last words of high ticket sales, because we are going to do more workshops. By the way, she lives down here in Jacksonville, conveniently, which I'll be here on a regular basis to see my son.
And we're going to do some later.
Oh, and we're going to do some later, which I think we might do a couple-day workshop just to teach you all how to do this. It'll be very limited, but if you're interested, just let us know. We'll hold your name, and there'll be a very, very short list that actually gets to come and play with us.
Yes. Yeah, very, very few people have done even 8 figures in the high ticket sales. There's an art and a science to it, and
I love it. I've done it many times.
There is an absolute formula to it. So make sure, whether you're in person, on the phone, on Zoom, you're noticing everything. You're going down the who, what, how, where, when. Make sure you're being aware of the 4 personality types, and you're taking in nanoseconds whether that person is A, committed, B, if there's emotional, personal impact around that decision. As Loral said, if there isn't a pulse around that or some passion around that, then they're taking up space. Yeah, take it away.
Yeah.
Hey, look, doesn't sound like this is the right time in your life to really, I get this isn't that important to you. Oh, wait, it is. Oh, good. Now we just challenged that leader, and they stepped up and brought a little more passion.
Yeah, and then the last thing I'm going to say, because we got to end, is how do you want to pay? Credit card, wire, charge it immediately. Like, all right, so here we are, and I'm not going to begin the process of helping until we have a commitment. So that commitment looks like a credit card or wire. And be that clear, it's not like a weird tension. It's just, this is how we begin. I don't move without money, so I got it. So do you want to pay?
Yep. So we recap. We recap their
and
answers.
then be quiet while they say, oh, because you have to give them time to think. So do I want my MasterCard, my American Express? Like, how do I want to pay? So give them time to think and say, so have you decided how you want to pay? So just again, keep asking, let space happen. I can't reinforce. On a high ticket sale, you've got a lot of space and quiet. Ask a big, powerful question and shut up. And then just let it sit. And then ask again. And then if they don't go for it, say, clearly you're not ready. And then I just go. I said, so I got to go right now. So I'm leaving you. Man, they will come back in 5 seconds. No. I'll do a credit card. I'll do whatever. But man, I take that to the end and finish it. So especially I want to speak to women. Here's how women end it. Let me know if you're interested. That is pathetic. That is not a close. It is an interesting chat. It is a girlfriend in the salon. That's not what we're doing. We're making women men 6, 7, 8 figure earners. So we do.
That's what
Wendy,
we do.
thank you. I know we could talk forever.
Got it.
Okay, so go to askloral.com, put in your information, let us know if you are interested. We are going to have a workshop. Wendy doesn't want to travel anymore, and I have a reason to travel, all here in Jacksonville, Florida. So that's where our workshops will be for high-end ticket sales. So let us know if you're interested, and we will be gathering a list, a very short list, because we can only do this for I don't know, how many people? Maybe a dozen? 2 dozen?
Maybe a dozen.
Yeah, because we're damn good.
You got to role play. You got to actually measure.
We got to work.
We got to do some of it live. We're going to call prospects live right there in the room.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll generate the lead the night before at the cocktail party, and then I'll prospect them live right there the next day. I'm just saying.
I know.
And we'll demo on the phone and on Zoom, so you can see both. Yeah.
And I'll do it live on stage because I love doing that.
Super.
All right. So put in your name, phone number, email. Let us know if you're interested. High ticket sales, Loral, Wendy, Jacksonville, Florida. Let me know when it's going to happen. I don't know when. We're just making all this up, but that's what we do. That's how games begin.
That's how we roll.
Have a good night, and thanks for listening to Loral's Real Money Talks.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langmeyer, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.